what do your results mean for HR policy or the practice of HR?
Thanks so much for the great question. So research suggests that organizations are currently juggling the challenges associated with the requirements for greater flexibility and decentralized decision-making, while also simultaneously trying to increase efficiency and ensure that employees are engaging in ethical behaviors. As we know from recent reports, about 49% of employees have observed some form of ethical violation in the workplace. And even these small ethical violations can accumulate into larger issues for both individuals, organizations, and society as a whole. So this is a really important issue that we're talking about in terms of ethicality and those perceptions. So we argue that this paper has several important implications for practice. The first one is really around this juggling of flexibility versus standardization, and actually recognizing that standardization or the centrality of decision-making actually does have some potential costs. And this is particularly important because organizations oftentimes invest significant amounts of resources in recruiting, selecting, developing, and training highly conscientious employees. But as we show in this paper, actually investing those resources, but in a context that constrains the ability of those employees to actually enact those key characteristics that you actually recruited them for in the first place, actually undermines their ultimate contribution in your organization. So this is really raising awareness to how we structure organizations, centralizing decision-making. And related to this is, of course, how we design jobs and how supervisors empower employees through, for example, enriched jobs. When we enrich people's jobs, essentially what we're doing is decentralizing part of that decision-making process or decreasing the hierarchy of authority because those individuals have control over how to engage in their work and make critical decisions related to their tasks. So this is very important in terms of this. So when you have highly conscientious employees, then we should feel that it's important to enrich those people's jobs as a function of this. That also means that our supervisors are spending less time kind of making decisions that those highly conscientious employees could be making themselves and making better use of their time and limited resources. The other component of this also is to recognize that many organizations are actually using perceptions of ethicality as a component of their performance management system and appraisal process. So, for example, in several organizations, including the military, promotion opportunities are actually determined in part by perceived ethicality. And this actually these results speak directly to this context where, for example, in the military is a high hierarchy of authority, right? Very centralized decision-making processes. You would hope that those conscientious employees would be recognized for their promotive voice, but actually, as our results suggest, this could potentially not be happening because the high hierarchy of authority diminishes that positive relationship with their perceptions of ethicality. So it has several important implications for how we design HR systems, policies, and practices, decision-making in organizations, how we empower our employees, as well as our performance management systems.
That's great. So many practical implications. I'm sure that practitioners and policymakers will find this very useful.